I'm going to name a type of the person and you can say what he's going to order, for example, by your experience.
Yeah.
2 people came for business meeting.
Coffee and tea, 100%.
2 girls are on shopping and then they're just coming, you can see the bags.
Yeah.
And they're just coming at 11 o'clock and just taking a little chatter break.
2 glasses of rosé. Hello everyone, my name is Tiago Mira. I work at the Goring Hotel, Bar and Veranda General Manager. Veranda is our brasserie style restaurant, so it's basically an extension of the bar where we serve, as I mentioned before, more of a brasserie style food. So we're talking about from lobster omelets to obviously the classic club sandwich, which everyone knows, to beautiful steak as well. So there's a bit of everything, and obviously alongside all of this, we also offer a phenomenal drinks selection as well. So cocktails, wine, spirits, the whole lot, pretty much.
How did you start? When did you start? How many years you've been in the game? And please walk us through your career.
Of course. So I started at a very early age when I was 16. So we're talking about roughly 16 years ago.
Wow.
So it started slow, obviously. I guess like most of us start picking up glasses.
Yeah.
Just trying to understand the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I did study hospitality.
Okay.
For 3 years.
Nice. And that before the first job.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So I did study hospitality.
So you always wanted to go into this?
Pretty much. So I come from a family of people that actually works in hospitality. My mom, she's a chef.
So every day people are talking. Your dinner talks are about business as well.
Exactly, about businesses, about the day-to-day operation of the kitchen, for instance, in this case. So it was always something that fascinated me, to be honest. And within time and working with more people from the industry, from the trade in Portugal, where I'm from, I start developing more and more the passion for drinks. So that is basically where I started. So I started as a bartender back in Portugal. So I worked for 4 years in Portugal in a 4-star hotel.
Nice.
Then I switched into a 5-star hotel from the same company in Évora, Alentejo, which is the region, until I decided to come to London in 2012. So obviously, moving to London was a big change. We're talking about, I come from a city with 50,000 people moving to a city with 10 million. So it's a big step.
The way the customers were very different, right? Like
100%. I believe that the Portuguese palate is we have a sweet tooth, so a sweet palate. When you come to a city such as London, everyone has a much drier palate. Yeah. So martinis, even Manhattans, all sorts of those kind of drinks, quite boozy compared to the Portuguese clientele, shall we say?
Got it.
So I had definitely I had to switch my mindset and adjust to the English palate.
Got it. Understood.
It took me a little while to get used to it, but then
So what's your day-to-day role now? Like what metrics are you being measured on, and what is your responsibility for your establishment?
Well, long story short, generate revenue.
Got it. And that's top line and bottom profit as well, right? So that's 2 things mainly. Sales has to grow.
Sales has to grow, and profit has to follow as well. Because as most people know, revenue doesn't mean necessarily profitability.
Yeah.
So
true.
So you need to those two, they need to work hand to hand.
Yeah.
So obviously keeping a very close look of our food and beverage cost. Obviously controlling our stock levels as well, especially now since pandemic. I guess it's very important to understand how much holding stock we have.
Okay. Because of supply chain issues?
Because of supply chain issues, because of the prices that they keep fluctuating up and down constantly as well. So you need to keep a very close look on the market to understand what's going to happen, not necessarily just in a month time, but in a year time. So, will vodka increase the price? Will gin increase the price? Will whiskey increase the price? Can I stock some more of this right now before it actually increases the price? And which ones will be the products that will be discontinued possibly? So just you need to keep a very close look on those, things in order to, to be able to.
So do you use some softwares or systems? What kind of technology are you using to manage and control your cost?
We do have systems in place.
Okay.
Obviously, we do work with
any particular software.
We work with a company or with the software called Procure, for instance, that which helps us controlling our stock levels as well as our costs as well. As long as you have obviously all your recipes and everything in the system, then it kind of.
So you can add a cost of the recipe as well along with.
That's correct, and it tells you automatically your profitability.
Got it.
So you tell to the system how much is your selling price. Sure. Obviously, because you put the recipe in it, it tells you the cost of the product.
So one question, let's say cost of the product.
Yeah.
You're just talking about the cost of goods here, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to add a time as well? Because that is the main cost, right? A time of a bartender going in the cocktail. Or you just add the ingredients. I'm sorry.
No, it's all no. Obviously, you do add the ingredients, but then obviously on top of it, you add, let's say, a 5% margin extra. So you add an extra 5% on top of it, which will then cover, obviously, the labor as well.
But some cocktails, let's say, would take 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Some will take 5 minutes. I mean,
it don't really cost those things.
Okay.
It don't really cost those things.
Okay.
Obviously, it's you could translate it to many other industries.
Yeah.
That you don't cost. You don't put a price tag on those things.
Understood.
Obviously, from the bartender point of view, and from the industry point of view, what you're delivering is what you've been trained for.
Understood.
Isn't it?
So, do you design your portfolio with some items which has more gross profit contributions?
Yeah.
Meaning, let's say you're going to make £4 a glass every time.
Yeah.
So you have that sort of items, a high volume player,
Yep.
and maybe one is £14 a glass, but a slow mover, but has a high markup like 500%, 600%, let's say, right?
Yes.
And this is more 200%, but more.
Exactly.
So how do you balance it? What's the science behind measuring that?
As I said before, especially nowadays, because of the price of the products keeps changing so rapidly, it's very important to keep a very close look on all the items.
Okay.
So obviously, I work very closely with many brands. So I try to, let's say, have a 70% of our menu on high profitable items, and the other 30% on not so profit. Let's say if you cost your menu at 85 to 90% GP, you'll try to get 70% of the menu covering that margin.
Understood.
And the other, let's say 20-30%, you can kind of.
It's like must have.
You can kind of, yes, a must have, which not necessarily. As I said, they give you great revenue.
Yeah.
But not so much profit, especially the top line of the shelf, for example. If you go to high, we're talking about 1,000 plus, pounds bottle.
Yeah,
I cannot cost a glass of it.
Yeah,
at the same margin.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I could.
Yeah.
But honestly,
how
much would I sell of
exactly, it? Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So it's like we need to have that.
So the expensive it gets, maybe the margins go down, but the revenue goes up.
The revenue goes up.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
What other elements, now you're managing the restaurants, right?
Indeed.
So who are the people who report to you? What kind of team do you have?
So I have a bar and restaurant manager as well, which reports directly to me, as well as 2 assistants.
Okay.
So we're talking about a fairly big operation. So obviously the bar, or the restaurant in this case, is open from breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea and dinner as well as being an extension of the bar. So especially in the dinner service, a lot of people kind of go in there and just, they have a drink while they're having a bite at the same time. So it is a constant operation.
From like
non-stop.
Coffee to the last cocktail.
The last cocktail is constantly. Constantly something going on that space. Obviously, in the same time, because it's next to the bar is also quite lively all day long. And the way I see it is a space that evolves throughout the day.
Very curious about like your breakdown of like let's say coffee, tea, are they 20% contributors to the actual beverage sales?
As well. As the bar and the veranda evolves during the day, especially the bar, I would say. So in the morning, you have a lot of business meetings, people coming in just for business, coffee, tea, water, and then around the mark of 11:30, 12 o'clock, people start switching from wine, from coffee into a wine, perhaps a little aperitif, a Bellini, and those sort of drinks.
Got it.
And then mid-afternoon, you start seeing a cocktail or two.
Yeah.
Until, let's say, around the 4 or 5 o'clock mark, the martini comes into play.
Yeah.
So people start going to the martini, a more heavy, more boozy sort of alcohol. So yes, it is a flow. There's a flow to it. The same in the restaurant.
So I want to, this can be a fun segment, right? Like let's break down by your experience by 2-hour slots.
Yeah.
And let's see what kind of drinks are popular in those hours, right? So
Okay.
as you said, like 9 to 11, coffee, you know. And
Yeah.
then one more we can do are the type of the people that come.
Yes, of course. So obviously the 9 to 11, you have the coffee. You have two different types of people.
Yep.
Depending on the day of the week, obviously.
Yep.
So if you're talking about, for example, on a Saturday night, on a Saturday morning, you don't have the coffee and tea in the morning, but you have the Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
You see? But if you're talking about a Monday or a Tuesday, then yes, you have the coffee, the tea, and obviously that's the most adventurous people that come in straight away at 10 o'clock in the morning and have champagne as well. Obviously, being part of a hotel, five-star hotel, a lot of people drink champagne early morning.
Got it.
Nothing wrong with that. I love champagne as well, so I wouldn't say no to a glass of champagne at 10 a.m. So yes, so 10 a.m., 9 to 11, coffee, tea. Then I would say 11 to 1, you have your wine, again your champagne, your Bellinis, for example.
And wines are more white in the lunch?
It does depend on the season.
Okay.
It does depend. So summer, yes, you'll have more wine and rosé, white and rosé, sorry. And winter, you'll go more red wine.
Got it. I was thinking more beers on lunch.
No, we don't sell much beer. Funny enough, we don't sell much beer. We have only 4 beers on the menu, to be honest, and it's not a top selling item.
Understood.
Wine and champagne, definitely.
So still lunch heavy, wine, champagne.
Still, absolutely. A couple of martinis here and there already at lunchtime, like a aperitif style. And then you move into the more kind of late afternoon, where again champagne is the biggest, or champagne and champagne cocktails.
Okay, so like 3 to 5, like sunset times are usually champagne.
Spritzes, champagne cocktails.
And by champagne, do you mean just champagne, or sparkling category?
Champagne.
Okay.
We sell a lot of champagne. I would say.
Okay.
And then from 5 onwards, cocktails all night long. It's when we dim the lights, we put the lamps on the tables, and it creates that scenario, that atmosphere. The music goes up, the coziness. It really calls for a cocktail.
I'm going to name a type of the person, and you can say what he's going to order, for example, by your experience.
Yeah.
2 people came for business meeting.
Coffee and tea, 100%.
2 girls are on shopping, and then they're just coming. You can see the bags.
Yeah.
And they're just coming at 11 o'clock and just taking a little chatter break.
2 glasses of rosé.
Husband and wife comes for a lunch.
He will have a martini. She will have a cosmopolitan.
Boyfriend and girlfriend comes for lunch.
He will order a bottle of champagne. Alternatively, he will order for her favorite drink, which most likely again will be a cosmopolitan or a Bellini.
2 tourists, 2 young boys are just like backpacker style, and they're just coming for lunch.
They will look at my cocktail menu and they will choose the quirkiest cocktail I have on the menu.
And what other personality couple?
You have so many. You have the people that are more the more eccentric.
Yeah.
Which they will come and look at the price tag rather than looking at the cocktail or the ingredient. You have the more sensible, shall we say, that come in and really they've been drinking that same whiskey soda for 20 years. That's the way they want it. They know exactly how they want it, and they will tell you how many ice cubes and everything that you need to know in order to nail it.
Yeah.
You will have our fellow Americans coming in, asking straight away for a Manhattan. Absolutely, first thing they order. And yeah, mother and daughter coming in from shopping with all the bags and everything in there. Coming in, having some food, again maybe a glass of white, and then maybe stage just catching up on a conversation, and then at a later stage maybe going into a cocktail as well.
Super. This is good fun, good interesting thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I like it. Anything else you want to say yourself, or just something which you want to think that can be good value?
I want to thank you and thank everyone that had submitted their spirit. It's been great to judge and to sample them. I'm sure that there's been a huge amount of work put into the organization and to the people behind the spirits, obviously, to create them, to the beautiful packagings we've seen.
Great, thanks a lot for your kind words.
Pleasure. Thank you.